everything just in the backpack. By the time he reaches down, he will make a parachute out of it somehow. And that's what basically an entrepreneur does. He begs, he pleads, he does whatever it takes to get things done. It's like I call an entrepreneur, or a founder at least, like a mother of a child. So if your idea is your baby, you do everything for the baby, and you never say, baby, I hate you, or you never say, baby, don't cry. And the mother is always ready to serve, like 18 hours a day, 24 hours a day. If it gets sick, she calls all of her friends, what do I do? And then imagine now the baby is 2 years old, he wants to go to school, or 5 years old, they want to go to school. They call all the family, friends, and say, hey, my baby is now 5 years old, what do I do? So exactly the same way an entrepreneur, every single step has a mentor or a friend or a peer. You call them and say, hey, what do I do? So the biggest leverage which we have today is social media and network. So that's why I do what I do, is because I believe every single one of you has some kind of passion to do one thing. And if, imagine, half of the planet takes one problem on the planet, which is 3.5 billion people, 3.5 billion problems, and there's no way on earth we cannot solve them, because it becomes very powerful network. Now what stops us from doing something is, for example, all of us live in our own bubble. You live in your bubble, she lives in her bubble, everybody is in our own bubble. Some bubbles are smaller and some other bubbles are bigger. So for example, Angelina Jolie's bubble would be much larger because she has a larger following. Whereas the guy working at the 7-Eleven's bubble would be smaller because he's not meeting a lot of people, he's not apparently famous, he did not do anything which stands out as a 7-Eleven guy to have a larger bubble. What I mean by the bubble is one which we think is real, and the second, how much reach do we have? So when Angelina Jolie says something, it becomes headline news. When I say something, it doesn't really matter. When the 7-Eleven guy says something, nobody cares. So first what you do is you create a network, and that's why you're here. Now in the underdeveloped countries, like say for example India, Pakistan, or the SAARC region or the African region, there is a problem called passport, right? The visas. So I personally was rejected 26 times, US and European visa. I had all the money I needed to travel, but I was still denied the visa, and they never told me why. One time at the German embassy, I had a bond for $25,000 or euros that my friend, and the statement they had to sign was, I'm willing to give up my house if Rehan runs away. And I still did not get the visa. So my person, just like you had heard about traveling, I am also personally hurt, but I can't do anything about it overnight. It's a long process. Just like I cannot have a baby 21 years old in 6 months. It's a process. It's just a process. So what you do is you keep on doing what you can do to the best of your ability, and keep sharpening your own ability to achieve your goal. So everything you describe is similar to what I do. But I have a process. The process is, first I allow anyone to get a network, and I have created a very interesting network of 5,000 people on my Facebook. And those people include Steve Wozniak, who founded the Apple computer, Steve Case, who started AOL, the world's first internet, the guy who invented the internet, the guy who invented the computer. Everyone is on my Facebook as a friend. Now I offer people to go out there and sell yourself as a person to that other person. Try to become a friend with them on Facebook. When you go out and try to become friends with 500 of my friends, you will probably have to approach 1,000 people. So you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. I'm giving you my pitch on what I do. 2 of you might like it, and 3 of you might say you're crazy. It just doesn't work. So it's impossible to convince everyone of your idea. So you go out and try again. What does that do is that makes your pitch better and better and better and better every time you go out and say, who are you? Why do you want to be my friend? You will have to introduce them in a way where they like who you are, right? It's not about you, it's about them. Why should they be your friend? They have another billion people to choose from. Why should they be friending you? So when you do that, it basically sharpens you up. It brings all your thoughts. Like I asked him a question, and it took him time to come up with the answers because he never thought about it maybe. And those are the questions which people will ask you when you go on a journey of trying to find different people. And that's the journey, basically. Once anybody adds my Facebook friends, like 500 Facebook friends, I give them a free smartphone. And then if anybody adds 1,200 of my Facebook friends, in Pakistan especially, I give them a free laptop. And if anybody takes my 1,500 Facebook friends, because it's a very long process and it's very hard, I offer them a partnership in a business and say, hey, would you like to work with me? Because I know that if he actually knows 1,500 of my Facebook friends, he's a very sharp person. It's like a filter process. He has become a very powerful person because all of a sudden he has very powerful people in his friends. One of the boys who has stolen 2,500 of my Facebook friends, there's only one guy, he has become a partner with Steve Wozniak, who has never met before. And this guy was, I wouldn't even want to talk to this boy. He was such a very I would say, no patience at all. Very, very like, give me time. And he had no patience. And now he can friend anyone in the planet. You just tell him, I want to be friends with this person, and he can go out and friend them. Because what does it require? It requires patience. Every achievement requires patience and persistence and perseverance. So now he and Steve Wozniak and a third person has started a company together, and they have never met each other before. And that's a crazy story. On a letter of a Steve Wozniak, you can probably get a Harvard scholarship. At least that's what I think. Because he's a very powerful man. He gave us, the planet, very small, very nice gifts, right? So I just started this 2 years ago as an experiment to see if it actually works. Because I have been doing this on Facebook for 8 years before that, and it within my own office. And I wanted to see if it actually works when anybody else does it. So it varies on the nationality, it varies on the gender, because if it's a girl, everybody wants to be their friend, so they just accept you. So there's no polishing going on in this process. So the whole idea is to polish the person, right? And then we ask them to come on Facebook and do an interview of that person, right? So for example, this whole process makes you so polished as a person, and your pitch becomes like really 30-second elevator pitch, because then, and then you can, you're selling, right? So you're selling yourself, you're selling your idea, you're selling your ideology, you're convincing the other person to join you on your journey. Basically, that's what you're asking people to do. But if your pitch is like 5 minutes long, how many people can you meet in a day? If it's a 4-hour conference, your pitch is 5 minutes long, how many people can you pitch? You can't do too many, right? So you need to have a 30-second pitch. And I'm out of cards right now, which I give away. I have my whole story on a card. I don't have to even give my pitch. I just hand out a 10-cent card, and my pitch is done. And you're like, whoa, and the story is right there. And if they are convinced, they will come to me rather than me going to them. So it's good marketing, good selling of your ideology. It could be selling burgers, or it could be selling peace in the world. Whatever it is, you have to be able to sell your idea, and it has to be so clear that the person understands it and buys it. That's what I'm here pitching, saying that come to my Facebook, steal my friends, open up yourself, and I have friends from over 150 countries. So in your case, which you're doing cultural, what was that? Encounters. You will definitely have a lot of cultural encounters. And this is my way of opening up the world to Pakistan also, because most of my friends, unfortunately or fortunately, are from Pakistan. And Pakistan is an isolated country in terms of it has so bad media that nobody wants to go there. So this way I was able to get people into Pakistan, because all of a sudden, if you have 500 Facebook friends from Pakistan, or followers even, and everything you post, they're liking, they're commenting, and they were like, whoa, I need to go to Pakistan, dude, there's a huge market there. And the others, they don't even realize it doesn't even exist in their map. So the founder of Katapult, I met him 2 years ago. I added him on Facebook. Imagine what happens to him. Everybody adds him on Facebook. He's like, whoa, Pakistan. Every day he wakes up, there's like 10 people from Pakistan trying to friend him. Can he ever forget Pakistan? So it's like he, and two co-founders. They're like, and the other co-founder I met first time in person. I friended him a year ago. I met him. I did not recognize him, just like I don't recognize you because you don't have a face photo. He said, I would love to come to Pakistan. I have so many friends now. I was like, whoa, it's working. And then he said, I want to do skiing. I said, I don't know anything about skiing in Pakistan. Even though there is the second highest mountain, there should be some skiing resort. So I made a post about him. And yesterday he told me, Rehan, I have 15 ski instructors. Wow, I'm going. I'm like, wow, cool. What did I have to do? All I'm giving out is a $100 laptop to people. And giving them a reward for their journey, just like you go to a university for the degree. If the university stopped giving you a degree, a lot of people would not go to the university, right? So it's not just the education. Otherwise, you can get it on YouTube and edX. So similarly, it's just a reward, a gift for their to walk on that journey. And what you want to do is brilliant, but you have to build your network. You have to have your followers who would help you, who would volunteer with you. Otherwise, it costs a lot of money. There are two ways to do everything, right? So as I said, I don't have a gazillion dollars to spend on this. I only had a few $1,000s to play with this, so I just spent what I could. And if you have $1 million for doing a conference, go for it. But if you don't, then this is one of the best ways to do it, is to just interact on social media.
One question is that, it's very inspiring.
And last, on the Institute of Peace, I was trying to work with the Stanford Peace and Innovation Labs for 5 years, right? And I liked what they do. Then I went to the U.S. Institute of Peace.
Nielsen and James Enrich and people.
So, and I went to U.S. Peace Tech Conference, and I thought, well, there's so much going on, and you know what? I just Googled instituteofpeace.org. It was available. I just bought it. And I just started throwing things at it. So now what do we do at Institute of Peace is we have a show on Facebook, which is Meet a Palestinian. So people who have never met a Palestinian could actually know their story. They see their house, they see how is it going there, and they can friend them and talk to them as a real human being. Same thing, we have Meet an Israeli. So you can actually meet an Israeli, or most of the Muslim world hate Israel. And you can now actually talk to them and see, why am I hating this person? I don't really know him, but I'm still hating him. Can we have a dialogue? So I have a Meet a Kashmiri, Meet an Indian, Meet a Pakistani, all these zones where there's conflict. Let's interact. Let's actually talk to the enemy, whatever that is. Enemy is basically fear.
Sure.
So how, and being on Facebook, what do? You get a friend request, you can click decline, you can click block. Gone. They're like, it's not like a physical human being who's bothering you. They can't come in and shoot you. So
it's
that's basically what.
No doubt. But
so the Institute of Peace basically gives rewards for making friends. Now we have launched our program all over the globe. So anyone, anywhere in the world, who takes my 500 friends, the first person gets $100. So it could be from Zimbabwe, from Fiji, from Ghana, from Congo, from countries which I've never even knew they existed. Because of all this, I have been able to find them and meet people from there. And it's very interesting to see that whoever does this become a change maker,
right,
because they have a very powerful network who helps them if they're willing to change themselves. Because now you're becoming vulnerable. You're opening up yourself to people you have no clue with.
That's where I was actually trying to bring you on. The fact that using a platform and database as a system where there is a people of extrovert personalities, where there is a sense of people who do want to get out of their comfort zone and able to engage with people on a level that they have this personality to do that.
Who told you that there is such a thing as extrovert and introvert?
I myself would be an introvert.
That's what you think. I was a person who couldn't speak to a human being up till I was 30.
But like Facebook itself is a platform that you are using it, and then there are people in Scandinavia especially who have this fear that their data is being used, privacy issues are there.
It's all fear. That's what we are here to have this conversation about. If you're fearful, there are ways to understand. First you understand. So I have a book. I'll be giving out my book which explains basically how Facebook works. What is her follower function is closed. She could have 1,000 followers tomorrow if I made a post about her. And what is a follower? A follower is a free customer looking at your posts, which he even now can do if it's public post. Say, for example, you share the YouTube video and it's public. Anybody can go to your wall and see it. But now you're allowing people to follow you, and your news feed, which is public, goes to them. So you can sell your ideology or your idea to that person for free. And 95% of the people in this conference follower function is closed. I mean, you spend thousands of dollars coming here, staying over here, and you're closing yourself. So what's the point? You're coming here, you all have a smartphone, you're not broadcasting or you're not recording what you're saying. You only have one life. And it's like, 60, 80 years old. So why don't you record it and multiply it, just like writing a book? So this 1 hour of conversation can convert into a small booklet, right? Or a journalist or an article. This is the new book. This is the new way of you spreading the ideas. Right now we have 17 other people watching us, with us, getting to know each other. And I'm sure when I will add you and post your videos, you will have a lot of interesting people saying, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I would like to see how I can work together with you. That's what you're here for, right? So why don't we just start doing the same on Facebook? Like, you spend $100,000 or $500,000 on this conference. A week later, how many will remember you?
But wouldn't that be also an element that we would be seen as the people from Facebook? We would be seen as that, are we working or associates for Facebook? Because there has some
let anybody see what he sees. So everybody thinks in Pakistan or everywhere that I work for Facebook. I don't.
Exactly, yeah.
But do you work for Coke if you recommend a Coke to someone? It's just like their mindset. They just don't know about it. If you're saying, oh, I live in Denmark, it's an amazing country. Do you work for Denmark? It's everything you like, you share with your friends. You had a good burger. You're going to say, hey, I had the best burger over there. It was amazing.
So you mean to say that right now, since Facebook, Google and Twitter, these are the platforms that we can create our new book in our today's time. This is a way to get out and meet people in a much more network area.
This is a cost-effective way for the
Right.
1.9 billion people of the planet who cannot afford ever to do this in physical presence.
Right.
Ever. They don't have the money to travel. They don't have the visas to travel. They just cannot do it, right? And how many people can we fit in that room?
Right.
200? What about the rest of the world? I alone have 750,000 people on my Facebook. Can we fit them all in one room? How much money do I need to get them in one place? I definitely need a genie. So it's not the best way to do it, but when you go to a conference, say you are going to be in this conference, you will have 200 people or 400 people are expected there. Do you think you can actually introduce every single person yourself there?
No.
Never. Impossible, right?
Never. I have been to many such.
However,
this is one of the things I'm trying to also.
However, I walked into a room yesterday and 3 people greeted me by my name because I was already friends with them for a month. They have been seeing my posts, they have been seeing what I do, they knew who I was, and you don't even have a photo there. I made sarcastic remarks even on that. Dude, put a photo. Who are you? Put it. If you want to sell your idea and you're not telling it, who's going to tell it for you? You're going to hire a team to, if the mother is not, going to do the work, who is?
I mean, in my experience of engaging in these kind of projects and programs has been that the personality sort of takes over the program.
In my opinion, it's all crap, introvert, extrovert, kind of people. It's all what we were told. Something, you'd like something, but have you ever eaten the fruit durian? You have? From Singapore, from China? Thailand, yeah. Can you explain it to her how it tastes like?
It tastes like fried onions.
Okay. In my opinion, it tastes like rotten onion or rotten garlic, for example. But it's supposed to be the king of fruit.
The king of fruit.
The king of fruit in that part of the world is durian. So you have to experience some things. And the king of fruit in our country is?
Mango?
Yeah, king of fruit everywhere is different. But it's, so there's a huge world out there which we don't understand. And the only way to understand which first I love his idea of the second idea of the new language, which is the biggest problem of the world. I think if somebody wants to solve the peace problem, they need to fix the language problem, because language creates barriers. It's the divide, the biggest divide in the world. Who are we? Denmark. I'm from Norway. I'm from Sweden. Why? But it is what it is, right? It took us so many years, and probably in the next 5 years, the language problem will solve to a certain extent because of the translator software and real-time translation and everything
But
else.
the last part then again will come up to the same circular argument. It can go to that. How do you sustain these relationships once you do understand what they are doing it? Okay, you've gone some journey with them, and then they do fall apart.
So you go to a conference, you're on the stage, you're speaking to 400 people. How many will you remember?
3, 4, or somebody, 1 or 2 who asks a question.
How many remember that they listened to you?
Maybe 5, 4 who got inspired.
No, I think 80% will remember you, that they heard you. They spent an hour listening to you, or half an hour listening to you. They invested their time on you.
Okay.
So they'll remember that they listened to you. They don't like it or like it, that's not the issue, right? So, like some people can be bored by my conversation right now, and some people can like it. But they do remember that they had some conversation. But you don't, because they're all 400. So it's the same relationship. When I have 750,000 followers, I don't know them. They know me. Right? If you're selling, McDonald's, you don't know, CEO of McDonald's doesn't know you. So and your purpose is not to go and make a relationship with everyone in the room. Your purpose is to find the people who will help you with your purpose and go forward with those people. So out of 400, you're here to only have 2 people. And that's the number which I found, 2 or 3 people will actually listen to you. Out of 700,000 people, why are only 12 people watching right now? Do you think everybody will watch? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that this is a number which I have reached to. They can choose to like it or not. Not everything I do would be liked by everyone. Not everything you would do would be liked even with your mother or yourself even. It's all. So in my observation, the biggest person we have to work with is ourselves. We have to change ourselves, and once we fix ourselves, everything else changes. Like magic. It's magic because I don't understand why it happens, but it happens. Like when you change, everything just comes to you. You don't even have to try hard enough. You change, that's all. You make yourself vulnerable.
And you change yourself by environment, getting yourself into those like-minded environment.
Many steps. So it's not like for example, if we're talking about how do you make change through Facebook, first step number 1, make a nice profile. If you're going on if Bill Gates calls you up and says, hey, I'll give you 2 minutes, come and pitch me, how would you dress up? You will dress up. You won't go in your shorts or sleeping pajamas to go and meet him, right? Similarly, if you're having a Facebook profile with no photo, no information, where do you live, what does it say about the person? Nothing. So who wants to meet nobody? Nobody. So become somebody and start becoming somebody by putting content. So write a book. Like for example, if this is an hour-long video, you can have it transcribed for $10 on Fiverr and then publish it on Amazon.com for another $5, and then you have a book about having our meeting. For $15, you have a book, right? And then you send it to me as a gift. What happens? I never forget you ever. Because you wrote a book. Not ebook. A physical book for $5 can be printed on Amazon.com. With your ISBN number, you will be a published author in $10, $15. Who stops you from doing that? Can't you afford $15? Yeah, so, there's a lot of things people can do, but we're all looking for like the giant mountain. Make me the prime minister and I'll fix everything. Hello, become a janitor first, Everybody wants that. It's a natural instinct that, I could do a better job. Okay, show us. It's easier to criticize, but take some action. So you were commenting that, you're not giving us time. I don't even know who you are, dude. You have to do something to get time from someone. The time is the most expensive commodity. What was he asking? Number 3, time. Very wise person, by the way, I guess. It's the most expensive commodity. I mean, if you didn't sell them before you bring them, why would they be here? They're like, no, I have better things to do in my life. Why should they come and meet me? They
Yes
have
and
to.
no. I mean, I agree what you're saying a lot, and I do understand the gravity of today's time of connectivity and relationship building, and how we are, because there are so much of self-perceived, like you talked about, self-perceived images in our heads. But the point is, again, is that you don't really reject the idea that if people don't come to you, okay, fine, it's okay. The whole process is to bring everybody together.
But they don't want to come together, even if you offered a lot of
But
people.
that is a challenge. I mean, this is how,
This
as
is
a
one of the
media
challenges.
person, as a journalist, as a storyteller, this is one of the things that, I mean, for me, even in the beginning with Perth and other networking people like yourselves, who are pushing themselves out there, making those networking connectivities in reality, these people's stories has also should be told in a way that other people in like opinion making, decision making, prime ministers and others could actually be able to understand, because they are consuming media as well.
I understand. But when you become a CNN anchor, they will listen to you.
But
Right
why
now, you're
CNN
not.
anchor?
That's
This is what I'm saying. These are against the stereotypes.
because there are 24 hours in the day, and there's so much to select from. Unless you produce the quality which CNN is willing to pick up, why would CNN pick up? Why would the Prime Minister pick it up? Everybody's important. Everybody's important. 7 billion people of the world are important to me. But tell me how I will give 10 minutes to every single person. Tell me how.
But this is the way I'm sharing you that we don't really need to know everybody. We just need to actually live like in a way that supports this place called Earth, so that everybody, one of us, could actually survive in a sustainable, lively, happy way.
Who disagrees with that?
This is what I'm sharing. And why do we need CNN, Facebook, and Twitter to push ourselves to be able to achieve certain level of acceptance?
It's not about acceptance. CNN made themselves into what it is. It didn't start the way it was. McDonald's made it into what it is. It did not start that way. Coke did not start like this. They worked hard to get where they are. And this is why they get our attention, because they worked hard for it. It didn't happen overnight. What you're asking for is to happen overnight. And that's what I'm hearing it to. It's not going to, if you keep on doing what you're doing, in 10 years' time, you will be the CNN. But you have to wait 10 years. Why do you want to happen like tomorrow? You're not good enough.
But we are in Katapult. This is where the acceleration happens.
Some people do get lucky, like the chaiwala in Pakistan. Some people do get lucky, but it's not. It shouldn't stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't stop yourself from your journey just because you're not getting acknowledged or you're not getting the rewards. That's why finding our passion is so important, because finding, as I said in the start, your idea, you have to be the mother of the idea. If you're not being the mother of the idea, which means that you're going to give it 18 hours a day, to whether the boy is retarded, whether he has one limb, whether he has one eye, no matter what your idea is like, you give love and work for 18 years to that child. And if you don't, then it doesn't, then the boy dies, or the girl dies, or the child dies, or whatever. It's just the idea dies. If you're not ready to sell your idea at whatever cost, or whatever means are available to you, not the cost, then you're not doing justice to your idea. Your pitch should have been given to me before I was here. I should have been the one calling you, I want to meet you, I want to meet you, I don't know your pitch. You're not making yourself visible enough for me to know who you are. And that's all I'm asking people to do. So everybody should be able to, whatever, she's passionate about something else, you're passionate about something else, I'm passionate about something else. It's similar, but not the same. We all have, everybody at Katapult has similar goals, not same.
Yeah.
So these are very, very micro differences, but if we don't know who anybody is, then why would we give them attention? Because out of 400, who are the 4 people you want to go and meet? Why not the other 396? Because the others stand out. They did harder work at one point in their life to become who they are. We forget that.
Yeah, I agree.
So this is why I was selected and you were not, right? So or the other 235 million were not, because there are other people, but they may not be on the radar of this organization, right? And eventually they will be. Like look at Abdul Sattar Edi, for example. So Abdul Sattar Edi is the guy who made the world's biggest ambulance network. When Malala got an award from here on the peace award, right? Everybody in Pakistan got upset because the guy who made the world's biggest ambulance network never got the peace award, but the Malala got shot, and this guy was like, he has worked for 60 years of his life, day and night, to build what he did. Malala is just a young girl. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve or not. That's a different argument. But a lot of people got upset. It's like injustice to them, because it's like you're in a class, you don't study, and you get popped, and he studies all the time. He does. So that's like an injustice we feel. And this is what you're saying, that why CNN, why not my post is getting the acknowledgement. Abdul Sattar Edi did not market himself the way he should have. Still doesn't. They don't know. Why not? Because it's a tool. Marketing is just a tool. It's just one of the components in life of your goal. If you're not going to market your product, who will? Blow your own horn. Wear the t-shirt of your company. Wear your idea, big signs. Hi, I'm crazy. Okay, fine. What are you crazy about? If you're not going to do it, who will? If I don't give you my card, if I don't tell you about myself, who will? If I'm not willing to buy my own idea, how can I expect somebody else to buy my idea?
Right, that's a good one.
So
sorry about the long.
So you basically want to take individualism to the absolute extreme, to the point where these boundaries we're creating between each other, which essentially you're arguing are illusory, they dissolve because we have created science and our elevator pitches and sharpened ourselves to the point where awareness of who we are as people has spread globally to the point where we no longer see these big distinctions, because we are no longer living in a world separated from the awareness of these differences or similarities between people. So in the end, like, idealistically, war and nationality feeling and general antagonization between people will not cease but decrease rapidly if everyone shares who they are through media, and as media grows, we'll get a sort of collective consciousness, awareness raised through just hyper-individualization.
I found my new elevator pitch, man.
Oh, is that the...
Yeah, it's sort of, but I wouldn't call it individualism. I'm just saying get naked in front of other people and lose your fear.
Is it getting naked though, or is it you sharpening up
both
a representation of yourself?
Both. You have to make yourself vulnerable, because it's vulnerability that when I took out the camera, he was like, okay, I'm going to go on camera. I have to be aware that I'm on camera. I'm not even aware that I'm the camera person. I just assume that there's some camera somewhere shooting me, right? And in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, that will happen, right? So I'm already preparing myself for that level of privacy which doesn't exist, right? But whereas that's what I mean by getting naked. That's what I mean by. I was just this morning going to write to the founder of Wikipedia to make another kind of Wikipedia where it's a bot goes out there and makes a Wikipedia page about every single human being out there.
That's a radical idea.
It's a very simple idea, right? And you, instead of me going and I just Google and the first thing will come up, everything on the internet about you will just pop up. Your affairs, your not affairs, your good thing, your bad thing. Tuck, 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 tuck. How far is that from happening? It's like
well, we're doing it ourselves.
You are doing it, but now there is no aggregated service available. The data points are there, but it's not collected in one place. What is Wikipedia? It's just humans collecting the data. Now I'm saying, let's create an AI which goes out there, collects all the data, puts it in front of all of us instantly. So whatever we need to know about you, like in 10 seconds I can know, rather than Googling about you, reading this article, reading that article, collecting it all in one place. Why not have a website for that?
Sure.
Simple, right? But it will happen no matter what. So what you're saying is exactly what I'm trying to do. Is we have been taught to be scared of the enemy. What is the enemy? Nobody actually is the enemy. We are all one. Why do we need these air forces and battles? Against whom? Against other human beings? Why? Just because they speak a different language and think in a different way? Is that humanity? And how do we dissolve it? Is by having a lot of people as the soldiers of understanding. If I don't know anything about your country, I might think, oh, this country raided my country and it rules many countries, it did this wrong, it did this wrong. 500 years ago. Hello? How about now? Fine, they did something 500 years ago or 100 years ago. How about now? What have you done wrong with me? So what's the difference between us and the other barbarians in the past? This nation is bad. Why? Why?
We're leaving it up to each individual to then define what they themselves believe.
It's critical mass generation, right? So it will. Have you read the book, The Tipping Point? So it's a very nice book. You guys should definitely read it. When things actually start to change, it will change when the masses will change, right? If everybody starts to eat McDonald's, more McDonald's will pop up or less?
More.
So it is about individualism. It is about selling one idea. Whatever I'm selling to you, 1, 2, 3, 4 people, you buy it, you go out and spread it to 4 more people. It spreads to another 1 person comes, another 4 people are aware of it.
Sure.
So it's first, we know McDonald's is unhealthy, but we still go and eat it. We know cigarette is bad, we still go and smoke it sometimes. We know that it's wrong, but we still do it because it pleases us. We still will do wrong things, but at least we will be aware of it. So the consciousness of the planet is rising because of this interconnectedness. And so, for example, right now, my interest is in fighting the battle for the Islamophobia. I'm very interested. So I actually had an article published in Estonia. I went to see a friend, and he was working in the newspaper, and he said the Islamophobia is in rise in Estonia. I said, yeah. So I have a photo where I look like Osama bin Laden, and I asked him, can you publish this photo for me and just say anybody who hates Osama bin Laden in Islam, just go to his Facebook and just inbox him all the anger which you have. I'll be very happy to listen to it. Now what will it do? It's like going to a psychiatrist, telling everything which you hate. Once you tell them, you feel like an empty can. You're not angry anymore. So if people would actually get their anger out on a space which is like you might have heard of the Hyde Park in London.
Yeah.
Same thing. You go out there, you get your anger out there, you have 4 people listen to it, you feel fine. You feel better. So at least you're not going to become the bomb which will go and actually explode. Right here, you are actually taking out your ideology or your anger. You're explaining it to someone, and 5 people say, "Hey, good job." They'll be like, "Okay, I'm not that crazy anymore." So people are. I think the people live in the world for attention. There is multiple things which we actually like. One of them is attention. It doesn't mean that I'm good or bad. It just means human beings are looking for attention. We want to look nice. We want to.
But man is a social animal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So those likes, if you post a photo and on Instagram and you get a lot of likes, you feel, oh, why? Because we like it. Yeah, it's how our brain works. So, and similarly, we want to be heard, but we are scared. We are taught. I wish in every school they were teaching how to do what I'm doing right now. Because if you had a video about you, a 2-minute video made about you 4 years ago, that video would be going viral, and people who are looking for you would be able to find you. And hire you before you even graduate and say, you know what, we want you to do this with us 5 years from now. I'm looking for them all the time. As an entrepreneur, every entrepreneur is looking for partners. You remember you said you want to find people who are passionate about your goals. Everybody's looking for them, but we can't find them. That's another big problem we're trying to solve. There's a website I made called Insan, which is insan.net. It's a search engine for human beings. So we can just Google what you're looking for. He's looking for a guy like this. Okay, enter. He's there like top 10 hits, like a search engine. This is the guy I want, right? So you go and approach them. Or this is the job I'm looking for. Okay, here he is. We can't find it right. It's so hard to meet people. And you're like traveling and flying and it's, so expensive. And we could have just had friends.
The humanist critique would obviously be that if people come out and they become naked, as you say, it is quite normal knowledge, that general knowledge that becoming naked is not something people are quite comfortable with.
Of course they're not comfortable with
So-
it, but they get naked in sauna over here all the time, with even their grandmother I hear,
Sure.
because it's a culture. Eventually the culture will, as we say, tip.
Sure.
The culture will change when we all change.
It's a cultural tipping point for emotional awareness. Or
Everything,
openness.
openness will
Right.
change. I think we will be forced by technology to become more open. Like, imagine 15 years ago, who would share stuff like what we do on Facebook today? Nobody would.
It's a fact.
Yeah, so it just takes time, and the younger ones are more and more comfortable with sharing more and more information, because why hide, why lie, why? That's the bottom line. And the older generation are still very scared to go on Facebook. Why I want to be on Facebook? Oh, everybody will know about it. Why? What are you hiding? I always ask, what are you hiding? What's your top secret? A lot of people say, like, for example, you were saying, people might think I work for Facebook. And then they say Facebook is a CIA's network. I said, sure, okay, it is. Now what? What's the big deal? What have you done wrong that you're hiding from everyone? Why are you hiding? If you like, I think you're a very nationalist person. I feel everybody is their nationalistic person, right? Imagine if 40 million Pakistanis made 1 2-minute video explaining what is Pakistan in their English, what would happen? 40 million videos. How many people live in your country?
5.
And how many Pakistanis do every Norwegian or every Finnish knows? None. 2.5% of this country is Pakistani. They don't know each other. They know of them, but they don't know them, most of them. So that's when things will change. When we, instead of talking about them, we talk to them. So whoever you hate and you disagree with, don't talk about them, talk to them. Even if they don't hear you. So for example, you don't like something what Trump is doing, be polite, be nice to them, just make a small little video. Sir, well, he is the president, no matter what we think of. So sir, we think this is wrong, and this is what we think should be done about it. Thank you for listening to us. Be kind to them. Out of 1,000, at least their office would definitely look. CNN will look. Others will look at your tweets.
It's a very interesting way. It's like a digital Gandhi.
I don't know if that is what it is. Then I'm the digital Gandhi. Ooh, I like it. I like it.
It's nice that you're very much right that people are looking for attention, no matter what kind of an attention that is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like exploring around that how it can be sustained, whatever the conflict and chaos comes from those attentions.
There is no conflict and chaos. Explain. Give me an analogy, and I will. Give me 1 minute. I will.